Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, so it's time for another play with my jelly plate, and this time what I want to do is use some fake flowers to create marks on the jelly plate. So I'm going to start by putting down a layer of paint, and I'm using acrylic gloss enamel forest green because I want to do a dark color to start. Ooh, that did some weird things coming out of the tube. And I've got over here, that's my 5x7 jelly plate that I'm going to use as a palette. I'm going to do a coat of this. This is an 8x10 plate, and I just picked this up, or this is the first time I'm using it. Okay, so I've got dealing with dogs. I'm getting text messages from my mechanic because my car's in the shop to get the check engine light repaired. And all of this while I'm doing something that I need to do while the thing's still wet. Of course, that's how my life works. And I'm gonna grab, I have got a whole bunch of fake flowers from when I was doing a lot of wreath making. And as you know, or may know if you've watched any of my other recent videos, I'm doing a redo of my craft space. And one of the things I went through was all of my fake flowers. So I'm just pressing this down, and I actually am culling my collection of fake flowers because they've been sitting in there for years, not getting used. And so while doing the culling, I thought, let's save a few for mark making on a gel plate, because I have seen recently some videos of people doing this with real flowers, but I've got a whole bunch of fake flowers, so I figured let's use the fake flowers I've got. So I'm just pressing it down into the wet paint to create some impressions. And then I'm gonna go get some dogs, because as soon as I finish doing this, I need to let this plate dry completely. Do one more over here, and then I'm gonna go bring dogs in. So we're gonna let this dry completely, then we're gonna come back and paint in the flowers, and we're gonna see how that goes. So I'll be back. All right, and while that's drying, I'm pulled out my 5x7 plate, and I've grabbed some DecoArt Americana Peacock Teal. I'm gonna add some of that to this plate and try using some other flowers. And something happened while it was being stored. I have a feeling I'm gonna have jelly plate issues, because trying to store my jelly plate in a perfectly clean, no air bubble way was a struggle trying to get them put away. Like taking paint off and not putting paint on. This is not working. And so I've got some smaller flowers. Trying not to get my fingers in it, and that's not always working out. right, I'm gonna let this dry and set it aside, and I'll be back. All right, so I am all dry, and I've got a piece of fiber on here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in and paint my flowers. And so let me, right, just double checking, making sure I'm all dry. It's kind of hard to tell when your fingers have paint on them. Let's see. I'm gonna grab some Folk Art Enamels Sunflower and paint these flowers yellow. There's a part of me that thinks I just need to get rid of the paints I have and get new paints because my paints are very old and not happy, and that I might get better results if I had fresher paints. But there's another part of me that's like, yeah, but you can still get okay results, and do you really want to buy a whole bunch of new paint? So we're gonna paint the flowers, then let everything dry again, and then pull it. And I'm not too worried about how precise I'm being, because what's showing on the bottom is what we'll see, not the top layers, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of just going around the flower all over because I can't really see all that well what did and did not lift up from the paint layer, like the green layer. So we're just gonna paint away. Okay, now I need to decide on a color for the center of the flowers. I think I'm going to use Craftsmart Burnt Orange. It's still a little wet, so I'm getting a little color mixing, so let's just go over that a little more. All right, I'm gonna set this aside to dry completely, and then we'll pull it and see what we get. This guy's dry, and I think I'm trying to decide if I want to paint the flowers or if I just want to do a layer of color over top and pull it so that each one's not painted, you know, just do like a single color. And I think I may give that a try and see how that goes. Clean up. Got all kinds of paint over here off on my palette. Some wet, some not wet. Okay, so I've decided I'm just gonna do one color over top and pull that and see how that goes. And so I've grabbed some Folk Art acrylic paint. It's light lavender. And so let's do that. And let me get paper ready because boy is my paint drying quickly today. So. All right, fingers crossed. This is gonna work. I'm just using a big piece because I didn't cut any down and don't have any handy, so I can cut this out later. And I'm just using, this is Recollections white cardstock. All right, let's pull this up. That pulled pretty good. And you can see like the flowers, definitely this flower, which is this one, worked really good. This flower made some interesting impressions. So yeah, probably play with that one again. And then this guy, I just need to remember to make sure I press the little tiny bits in all the way around. So that's kind of cool. Kind of like that. I think the edges of this might have still been a little damp. I don't know. It's kind of like peely. So yeah, I think maybe I will do another one playing with the little flowers. Just got to decide on a color. You know what? I've got the lavender out. Let's go ahead and do the lavender again. And we'll just give it a coat of the lavender. Oh, and I heard back again from my mechanic, and apparently my car's going to be in the shop for about a week, mostly because they're just waiting on the parts it needs. So thankfully I work from home, so it's not that big of a deal for me to be without a vehicle. I can live without a car since I usually only drive it like once a week. Just like leaning way over to try and see if I've got this fully covered. There's, I think, a clump on my brayer. See if I can get that off. It's adding extra texture that I don't necessarily want. I think I need a little bit more paint because it's like I can see through it in spots. So let's try a little bit more. Go one more round on top. Ooh, it did not like that at all. I'm taking the paint up. Wait, I think the problem is it's drying too quickly, and so I got it dried, and then I tried, let's do a cleanup. See what we can lift off. All right, so that is now clean. We're gonna try this again. Actually, let's clean off my palette one too, because I think that was part of the problem. And let's try this again. All right. Definitely need to work quickly today because, yeah, it's drying fast. All right, let's push this down, and I'm gonna try and be more careful this time with my not getting my fingers in. So there's one. Let's grab this flower, and I think I might try opening it up a little bit more before I put it down and see what happens if I do it like this more. That should be interesting. And this guy, I'm gonna kind of roll it around to get all the little tiny bits on there. Let's do that over here. And this guy over here. Yeah, come here, come here, come here. I feel like I know what you're doing. I've got these are little plastic pieces that hold, you know, at the back of the flower that hold it on. So let's try that. Interesting. You know what? I'm gonna flip it and do that in the center. Not quite center. Just add a little bit more interest in there. And I'm gonna set this aside to dry, and I think the first one we did should be about ready to pull. There we go. I think we're all dry. Yep, looks like we're good to go. Now I just need to grab some, let's get that a little more centered on there. Something to pull it with. And the color doesn't really matter because we shouldn't see any of it. And I'm grabbing its Folk Art Vintage White because it's actually got some good flow to it, so it should roll out nicely. Because really that's all I want. And I've got my paper handy, and let's go ahead and get this guy covered. And fingers crossed it will pull nicely. Okay, let's put this down. A good rub. And Alright, I'm gonna try flipping it over and pulling it up this way. I think this back corners, I think the problem is that the pull color dried too quickly over there. Other than that problem, it came out pretty good. Like, I like how the flowers came out. I don't know that I love the color choice. And actually, you can see more of that through the green than I thought you would. So I think I needed a thicker coat of the green or a darker color on there because, yeah, it's showing through and it's kind of messy. But hey, I love how the flower shape came out. So not too bad. I'm going to need to clean this mess up a bit, and I'm going to set this guy aside. And I'm going to have a bit of cleanup, and I'll be back. I've grabbed Enamel's Fresh Foliage, and we're going to, by Folk Art, and we're going to try pulling with that. And there's a little bit of smush, and there and there. That one's coming off. That one, oh, there we go. There we go. All right. I'm gonna put more down just because I don't want this drying. To grab paper too. Let's go ahead and pull this and hopefully it'll work. That came out pretty good. I think I should have gone with a darker color for greater contrast, but I'm not mad at it. All right, well, I'm having a lot of fun, so let's keep going. I've grabbed a Folk Art Enamel's Violet Pansy, and we're gonna do, because we're gonna get green paint on my desk, because the brayer was still wet. I've decided it seems to work best if I lay down a dark color, impress my flowers in, and then pull with a light color. And I've got an orchid flower, and we're going to see how it works. I don't know about the plasticky piece in the middle, so I pulled one apart. So we're going to try pressing both of them in and see how that works. So that's what I got with that. And then let's see, over here, I'm going to spread out the centerpiece, press it down, and then come in with the rest of the petals and press them down. And that, I'm not sure how well that's gonna do. All right, what I think I may just do is play around with the parts. And we're gonna see what that does. We're gonna set this aside. Pretty sure this is dry. Yep. And I wanna paint these again, but this time I'm gonna use metallics. So we're gonna see how that comes out. And I've grabbed Folk Art Metallic Aquamarine. Probably be a little more careful this time in my application. I'm gonna go ahead and do like I did last time and just paint over the whole thing and then set it aside to dry. And then once it's dry, we'll pull it. And for the centers, I'm going to use Folk Art Lavender Lace Pearl. Okay, that's all painted. I'm gonna set it aside and let it dry completely, and then we will pull it. This one's dry, so we're gonna go ahead and pull it. And I'm gonna use some Folk Art Adrift acrylic paint, and I'm grabbing some wet strength tissue. Let's see how it does on that. Uh-oh. Did not lay that down very well. I've got wrinkles all over the place, so hopefully this will still pull nicely. We shall see. That did not pull very well. It's, you know, if it had pulled better, this might have been really cool because the flowers are definitely interesting, but yeah, I don't know what I did wrong, quite frankly. All right, we're gonna pull this one. Grab a piece of cardstock and have it at the ready, and I'm gonna use Brushed Metal acrylic paint by Folk Art in Brush Dark Gray because I've got those splotchy spots, so this way if it shows through, it's going to show through a dark gray like the rest of the piece. All right, let's pull this sucker. That's actually kind of cool. I kind of like how that came out. Yeah, I don't know why my paint's like, I'm getting acrylic skins. And I don't know why it's doing that. Let's set this aside to dry completely. All right, I want to do one more flower, and I've grabbed Craft Smart Espresso. And I'm just gonna put some on the plate. Probably too much, because that's how I roll. I either have too little or too much. Oh, and I cleaned off my roller, and it is not wanting to roll at all. And this paint is soupy. I don't think this is gonna work for what I want, which was a dark base to stamp my flowers in. This is no bueno. This is like fluidy. I don't know why. Probably did not shake it well enough. All right, we're gonna try dark chocolate this time. That should be better. Oh yeah, there we go. And of course, this time, not enough paint on here for sure. All right, and I've got a different flower. It's a poppy, and I actually pulled it apart because I thought this was too bulky. And I'm already seeing there's going to be one issue because there's fluff on the inside pieces that I'm going to have to clear debris off the gel plate. But we're just going to give it a try. I have a feeling these are going to be really pretty. I'm going to use tweezers to hopefully gently pull off the bits. All right, we're going to let this dry. This one's dry, so we're going to go ahead and pull it, and I'm going to use Fire Coral by Folk Art. Well, but for it messing up over here, I like how the poppy came out. Again, that bottom light, like the brown is just not quite as thick or as dark as I would like it. And I don't know if I should have put it on thicker or just used a darker color. But I do like the effect of the poppy. That is really cool. I'm not thrilled about this, and I really am going to have to do some YouTube research to figure out what I'm doing that's causing that to happen. But I think I'm going to call that it for today. So let's take a look at what we got done. We got that one. We got our two smaller ones. We've got the metallic one, which I actually do really like how that came out. We've got our green and yellow. And then that one that didn't turn out so great because it didn't pull off. But the marks are really cool. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.